All right, checking out Tract 23 at the Tracts at White River. This is a 10-acre property. We've got it pulled up toward the middle of the video. Let's zoom out a bit here and kind of show you where it is. It's going to be toward the east side of the Tracts. There we go. So here's Tract 23 over here. Now this map shows 36 tracts. There may be 36 tracts when all is said and done, or there may just be 24. It won't change the placement of tracks 1 through 24, so this will be in the same place no matter what. But there may be 36, there may be 24. I'm not sure which one we're going to go with on yet. As far as getting to the tracks at White River, it's fairly simple. We've got a really detailed kind of intro video on the main page that shows you how to get here from Batesville. County seat is Batesville, and that's probably the closest, regional town. But rather than rehash that, we'll just kind of start here and show how to get to the property. So Lock 3 Road is the county road. That's this green road. It's named Lock 3 Road because it is how the city accesses this hydroelectric dam here, which is called Lock 3. And that's because it's got the dam, and then it's got what's called a lock on the east side. And if you're familiar with boats or rivers or lakes or whatnot, canals, I guess, a lock is what's used to raise and lower the boats so they can either go upstream or downstream. So pull the craft into the lock, shut the doors on both ends, and then either raise the water level in the lock if you're going upriver, or drop it down if you're going downriver. And that's lock number 3, so that's Lock 3 Road. I think there are 3 or 4 hydroelectric dams between this point on the White River and Batesville. This one, even though it's there, I think it's not producing power. Someone told me intentionally they just basically didn't need it to produce power right now. So it is still there, but it's not kicking any power toward Batesville. But you will see when you're out there the power wire. And what that is we've been told, it's not the power running to the hydroelectric, it's how they would get the power to Batesville. So maybe they'll use that in the future, maybe not, but either way, now you know. So to get to the property, we'll take Lock 3 Road, and as we mentioned, it's a county road, but it's basically more or less a minimum maintenance or unmaintained county road because really this is just a recreational area. There are very few homes out here. I think the last home is just before you get to the Tracts, and so the county grades the road every now and again up to that last home, and then beyond that they really don't do too much. I don't know if they maybe come out once a year or whatnot, and that would change, I think, if a couple people either built a cabin out here or did a hunting camp out here and let the county know, hey, we'd really like you to start maintaining that road. That's something that they potentially would do. But either way, you want your four-wheel drive truck or SUV to get out here, even if they started to maintain that county road. You're still going to want it. You're still going to want four-wheel drive. You're going to want the extra clearance, and you've got the gravel easement roads besides that are minimum maintenance roads. So yeah, you want four-wheel drive. But to the matter at hand, to get to Tract 23, so you'll take Lock 3 Road, the green road again, the county road, through the Tracts, and if you'll cross under the big power line. That's why it's a good landmark, and that's the line that takes the power from the hydroelectric dam to Batesville. You'll come into what appears like a miniature cleared meadow, but then if you look up, you'll see that big power line. Once you pass under the line, if you go to the right, you'll go to the river access, which is that kind of cool concrete slab that goes into the river. But if you don't go right, if you just go straight, the road will veer to the left. You'll go up a small hill, and then once you get to the top of the hill, look to your left, and you'll see the gate. That's the start of the easement road system for the rest of the tracks out here. There is a gate on the other side of the road as well, on the south side or on the right, but that gate basically goes nowhere. It just goes kind of back into this area, which really isn't anything. So you're looking for the gate. It'll be on your left if you're coming from the north, but either way, it'll be on the north, or I guess kind of the east side of the road. It's basically a large pipe gate, but it's got kind of I guess a commercial look to it, and it's been there quite some time. But if you'll get a hold of us before you head out there, we'll let you know how to unlock that gate so you can get in and check everything out. So you'll unlock the gate, you'll go through, and you'll start going up a fairly long hill. It's not super steep, but it's fairly long. You'll cross tracks 9 and 10. Somewhere around here, you'll kind of level out and keep on going. This looks like a Y in the road, and it is, but it'll be very apparent that you stay to the right when you're out there, because the left fork is barely ever used. So just kind of follow what looks like the main part of the road. Keep going, keep going. Now when you get down here to the Y on track 17, that might be a little tricky, because it could be that both directions have about the same, wear pattern, I guess. But if you have the MapRight app, or the Land ID app it's called now, on your phone, and you get everything set up before you go out there, it'll be really easy, because there'll be a colored dot on your phone, and it'll be tracing the map that you've downloaded essentially. What you want to do is go to the FAQ page on our website and watch the short video on how to do that. If you don't do that, it might be tricky on your first trip, because it is easy to get turned around. And you want to set that up while you're in town, while you have absolutely fantastic reception, because it does take pretty decent cell reception to download that and to get the map, the link to this map up and running. But then once it's on your phone, you can just leave it for the day and refer to it if you need it. And even if you get out here and have pockets of poor reception or whatnot, it's still going to work, because once it's loaded and running, it can use GPS to function. It's just that it's nearly impossible to get it loaded and running if you're in an area that has less than great cell service. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to do is just screenshot the maps on your phone. It's pretty easy to do. If you print them out, kind of like we like to do because we're old school, then that's almost foolproof. But lots of different ways to do it. Just do whatever you're comfortable with so you can have a pleasant trip out there. You'll keep going easterly, and it won't be too long, and you'll be at Tract 23. So Tract 23 has actually the easement road providing access across the northern part, and it goes southerly and somewhat diagonally, southeasterly, lengthwise across the tract. So you've actually got road access to a large portion of this property, which is pretty neat. So you can kind of see and explore the whole property without having to create a huge driveway or trail or whatnot. Why don't we go to a topo map here? Okay, so that's the vintage topo, it's called. These were created in the 1950s. We've been using these topos, these USGA topos, for about 20 years. They've been great. Recently, they came out with a newer version. I don't know if it's USGA or not, but this is called the modern topo, according to MapRight. And it's basically we think it's a sanitized version of the vintage topo. So we tend to stick with the vintage topo, because that often gives a little extra detail, a little extra information that the modern topo kind of glosses over. They're basically similar, but we tend to stick with the vintage topo, probably because we're used to it, I guess. What the topo is telling us is that the property is the highest at the northwest area here. This portion on the north side of the road is fairly level. If you look at the spacing between these contour lines, that indicates that it's fairly level. You're going to have setbacks from any of the roads here for building and camping and whatnot. You can see the exact setback distance within the listing page. I don't recall what it is offhand. It's either 100 feet or 50 feet. But either or, there is room on this north side where you could get beyond the setback and potentially set up set up your camp, or even a site for a cabin, or just to park an RV or whatnot. In addition to that, obviously, you've got the rest of the property as well. So this road that goes southerly rides along the center of a large ridge, which goes right through the property. That's super nice. Because the road's in about the middle of the ridge, you get several areas, especially on the west side, but some on the east as well, or maybe this area in here, where you could easily get beyond the setback distance and still have room to park, or potentially have a cabin or whatnot. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, we've got this small little creek bed which crosses over the southern part, the southwest part of the property. So that's going to be a seasonal creek, or a wet weather creek. It's certainly not going to flow all year, but it will flow at certain times throughout the year. And it gives you an authentic ancient Ozark creek bed, which is pretty cool. You're going to have rock formations, you're going to have fossils, you're going to have neat stuff, and a creek bed with the valley like this is a good place to check for springs, for live springs, if you're looking for that on a property, and also potentially for caves. Usually caves are not found in flat areas. They're found in valleys like this, and usually not at the bottom. Usually toward the middle is where we've seen most of the caves that we've either stumbled across or visited that were existing caves. They started just as tiny little holes that no one noticed in the side of a valley. So that'd be something that would be really cool to check out on this property. So we will keep this one short, but beautiful tract. This one probably appeals to quite a few people, because it's going to appeal to the hunters as well, I would think, because this road access gives you easy access to just about every part of the property. If you wanted to do some kind of food plot or whatnot, you could get your tractor back in there without too much fuss, just using the easement road. So yeah, nice to see, and nice to have that little creek bed, which is definitely going to be pretty when it runs, and might even offer potentially a spring, or even some kind of small cave. And not only that valley, but actually you have this area here toward the middle of the property, the east side, where it slopes down as the beginning of a valley, but you have this hillside here, which is also a place that personally we would want to check for any springs, or maybe even caves. I mean, we've yet to find a huge undiscovered cave, but we actually have found some pretty neat caves that were more than big enough to go inside and walk around. And it's been this type of topography where we found just about all of them. It's been kind of these small or medium hillsides with either a creek or a wet weather creek at the bottom, because it takes many thousands of years for the water to form a cave. And so you need an ancient valley if you have any hope of finding one. And that's where we've had our best luck for sure. So just food for thought. But yeah, that's Tract 23, 10 acres in size. Beautiful property, very private. If you have any questions on that, you can let us know. You can give us a call in the office, of course, or you can send us an email and get a hold of us that way. But either way, we would love to chat with you about this property if it's available. If it's not, we'll let you know what we do have and what might be coming up. So get a hold of us. We love to talk about properties in the Ozarks. This happens to be in northern Arkansas, in Independence County, Arkansas. County seat is Batesville, which is about 15 miles southeast. Beautiful area. The White River is, bam, right over there. So fishing, floating, canoeing, kayaking. We've been told you can trout fish in this section of the White River, which is pretty cool. In addition to bass and catfish and everything else, you can actually catch trout. I don't know if it was rainbow or brown trout in here, but one of the two, maybe both, who knows. But there you have it, Tract 23 at the White River.